Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this planet, on this journey together, experiencing life in a physical body on 3D. My name is Miriam Cunha, and I welcome you to my channel where we share ideas and thoughts about things that help us navigate through this journey of learning on this infinite, vast universe. Hello, Robert. I love you. So, we are here tonight to talk about dreams and astral travel, astral projection, and death. What do they have in common? Yes, those are three similar experiences. The thing is that when we incarnate in this physical body, which is what we are into, and I was, before I say that, I was doing a video in Spanish before, and I was explaining that Latin languages have an advantage of the understanding of the verb to be, because in Latin language we divide to be into two verbs, and one it's the being at the moment, and the other one is the permanent being. So being at the moment is what we are in the physical body. We are not permanently inside of the physical body. So this is one of the two bees. And who we are in essence as a consciousness that incarnates this body, it's the to be as a permanent be. So I think that Latin languages do take advantage on that understanding with the division and of meanings of that verb, because to be it's more complex than the Anglo-Saxon language simplify it to. Anyway, if you're learning one of the Latin languages like Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, or Romanian, you will have to understand that permanency or temporality of to be. So we are incarnated not permanently inside of a physical body, and we are permanently conscious beings of this universe navigating through learning experiences. So who do we are? On this verb to be. Who are we? We are consciousness incarnating into different types of bodies. So we do not only incarnate into human being bodies, but we do incarnate also into other species of bodies, other dimensions, other planets, and we experience it in different ways. So the concept that has been implanted and programmed into our understanding that we are the physical body, that when we look at the mirror, we think that is what we are. It is a misconception because we are much more than that physical body. We are experiencing this physical body as a consciousness. And the physical body, it's composed of matter that comes from the planet Earth. And this matter was magically worked and programmed with DNA from two people, which were your parents, each one of our parents that matched and mixed this DNA composition of the matter, created a physical body that each one of us is incarnating into. This physical body brings information from not only the things we experience this life, but also from the DNA of our ancestrals, from generations of and generations of our ancestors from both sides of our mother and father. So sometimes we're carrying suffering and physical dysfunctions that are not even ours, but somehow we chose to be in a physical body, maybe because there wasn't another one available and we had to come, but we actually chose to come and incarnate our consciousness into a body that belonged to these ancestrals, this mix of things. And what can we do about this is actually to work a lot in releasing anything that is suffering, patterns of suffering and unhealthy patterns that don't serve us here, right? And I am saying all of that because dreaming and astral traveling and dying are all experiences related to our consciousness leaving the body, meaning that every time all of us go to sleep, we leave our body. And how far do we go with our astral body and our consciousness, how far from the physical body, depends on how deep we sleep. And how deep we sleep depends on how well our body is functioning. If there is no pains that keeps us attached to the physical body, or discomfort or lack of oxygen, any physical discomfort may affect the way we sleep. But also I find that we create this discomfort in a way of reacting out of fear from leaving the body and not being under control of the experience of being on that body. So sometimes people are so afraid of leaving their bodies that they create all this uh, mechanisms of having very light sleep and being always alert to what's happening here so that we actually don't lose control over what's happening here and don't leave the body. Well, it would help if we understood. Hello, Marta. How are you? You can always watch the one in Spanish later too. It's recorded there. But thank you for tuning in. So anyway, we could avoid uh, this control of being attached to the body and let us go, knowing that we actually are attached to the physical body by a tube of light, which is known by several practices of astral travel as line of light that is permanently attaching our consciousness to our physical body. So when we sleep or we astral travel, we're always attached to that light tunnel or cord or however you want to call it. And that brings us back to the body whenever we are rested enough, or if something happens on the physical experience that needs our immediate attention, we immediately come back, or something frightens us on the astral travel, we immediately come back. So we're always attached to the body and we're not going to leave it permanently until it is time to go. And that's when death comes in. That it's a similar experience. The difference is that you leave the body, your consciousness leaves the body permanently because your body doesn't work or function anymore. Our bodies are like machines, are like cars, are like a computer that needs resetting every time you use it and you're not using it anymore. You turn it off and then you turn it on again. It needs that resetting to restructure the energy. Like a car, you're not going to keep your car running 24/7. You're going to turn it on, go somewhere, come back, turn it off, because it needs to be off to restructure. The same thing, it's our body. Our body, it's our vehicle here. It's the vehicle of experiencing the physical dimension, the 3D dimension of this planet. And our consciousness decided that it would be a great experience to incarnate here on this planet at this moment in time where we're going through this huge transition of the galaxy, although it seems a little chaotic and suffering sometimes when we see things. But we did choose this experience to be here. And I'm just going through this that I have mentioned before because it's always good to remember who we truly are and what are we doing here, experiencing this 3D body. And to understand furthermore that we actually dream, we sleep and dream because we leave our bodies and experience different realities. Or we exercise enough practices of our astral traveling that we are capable of awakening and being conscious of being outside of the body on another realities. Or when we die, we're conscious that we no longer have that body. It is like if you had a certain dress that you loved so much, you bought it new, you use it for the some parties and going to places. You love that dress, but the dress it's fainted, it's ripped, it's not longer your size or is not serving you anymore and you have to give it away or throw it away. And that's the body too, right? The body serves a function, and for different people it goes farther or shorter depending on the choice we made before we incarnated on this life. And talking about incarnations and life and time, I always like to remember to recall the understanding that time is not linear, that time is like a spiral revolving always, and everything is happening at the same time. And the only moment that exists for real is the here and now. I am here and now talking to you through this amazing technology, which is the computer and the internet, and you are there listening to me. And that is the moment of the now. Everything else that has gone or it's coming doesn't really exist right now, but it exists in different parallel realities because everything exists at the same time. And that being said, we can dive now into the different experiences that we have when we dream and when we practice astral travel, which are similar experiences, but one is more conscious than the other. So I have been practicing astral travel since I was young because I was very interested on that subject and I wanted to experience being conscious of myself on the other side without the physical body. So I did lots of exercises and practices and took courses on that and developed the ability of awakening in a dream, which is it's travel, it's astral travel. But you go to sleep and then you leave your body, you can go to different experiences. But when you are uh, when you have enough practice about that, you can direct yourself. I don't always do that, but I should do it. Like always have direction. Okay, where am I going tonight? Because if you just leave it to the wandering, different things can happen depending on the vibration you are at when you are going to sleep. For example, if you just watch a horror movie, which is very low vibration, or a violent action movie, or you watch the news full of ugly, bad things that are happening. Hello, Tareka. So if you just came from those low vibration things that were input to your mind through light, because that is how the images of movies and TV comes through your mind, through the light input of those ideas and codes. You start vibrating on that level. And when you leave your body, you're going to be attracted to go to levels that are similar. So you might end up traveling to a place like I did the other night. I don't know why I went there. I was too curious to prove something to myself. So I ended up going to Rio de Janeiro, and I went to a very, very heavy uh, ghetto there, slum area, where a gang was trafficking bodies. That was bad. It was horrible. And I was observing there, but I was neutral there. I just went there because I wanted to know what was happening. And I actually saw what was happening, and I brought the information. And then when I came back to my body, I was like, okay, what did you really need to know that? Like, you're so curious. You okay? I proved that to myself. I know what's happening. Unfortunately, the result of what I wanted to know is that they are actually trafficking bodies because of this uh, pandemic that is happening. I'm not going to get into details, but that's what I saw there. So I ended up on that kind of vibration going to see that, because I was watching, probably that's what I think. I was watching a police action movie. So the level of vibrations took me there. My mind's like, okay, let's go and see what's happening. And when I was there, somebody came and pulled me by the arm and said, okay, you need to leave because they already know you're here. Because it is interesting to know that when you tap into certain places on the astral plan, you can go to different dimensions and different places. And sometimes you go to places where you're not supposed to be. And there are beings that can notice that you're there and you're not supposed to be there, right? But in this case, somebody came and was like, come on, you need to leave. They already know you're here. And that happens too when people do how does it call remote viewing, because remote viewing is very similar to astral travel, but you don't need to leave the body when you're doing remote viewing. Your consciousness is capable of tapping into those realities without leaving the body. And that's why I didn't include that on the title of this video, because I wanted to talk about the experiences where you leave your body. Hola Marta. Okay, Martha is asking if it could be dangerous. I I wouldn't look at it like that. The Because when you're not supposed to die yet, because everyone as a consciousness, we know when we're supposed to go out of the body and not come back, meaning dying. And where you're not gonna die if it's not time for you to die. So in that sense, you shouldn't fear. And I will actually share with you another experience I had a couple of nights ago that I was dying on that experience, and I woke up feeling that I was dying. But in other terms, it's not, the word wouldn't be dangerous. It would be more that you can tap into levels of experiences that bring you a lot of suffering. instead of helping you grow and vibrate higher. So if you are watching those things that are very violent and ugly before you go to sleep, you are vibrating on that vibration, and you'll be attracted to go to similar experiences, and you will be suffering during those experiences. And if you're not aware of yourself on that experience, meaning if you don't wake up in your dream and know that on that level you actually co-create the reality, then you end up feeling fear of what's happening and suffering. I don't know if I explain well, but I let's say an example. You watched a horror movie, and there was some ugly creature on that horror movie, and you're vibrating into that idea. You leave your body and you attract your to go you attract you're attracted because of your vibrations to go to a level of experience that is very similar to that movie, and then you find some monsters that start attacking you. And because you didn't prepare yourself and you don't awake yourself on that moment, you start suffering the attack from that being. But if you wake up your consciousness at that moment and know at that moment that you co create that reality, then you can create a light weapon, like, say, like a Star Wars light sword, and you create it. You just think about it, and you cut the darkness and the attack, and you call for your spiritual guides and command that you are in a protection field and you're going back to your body. So anything that you think when you are out of the body happens. The thing is that we're not trained for that, and we if we get into fear, we actually lose our power. And that happens in our physical plan as well. Let's see. Can you tell yourself to go back to your body? Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can say, I'm going back now. And I think that's what happened on that experience. Uh, I will address you, Robert, in a moment. But I'm going to tell you the experience I had a couple of nights ago, which was very intense, which triggered the theme for tonight. So I was dreaming astral traveling, and I ended up experiencing a memory of something that I experienced in a different life. So I was a nurse, and I was part of a facility that seemed to me like it was some sort of army facility, different buildings and houses. And then out of a sudden, there was a nuclear explosion. I saw the light of the explosion, and many of us got affected by the nuclear radiation. And we knew that it was a matter of time that our bodies were not going to last for too long. They took us to some kind of hospital, but they couldn't do anything. We were laying on beds, and people they had to avoid people from being in contact with our bodies because we were irradiating this radiation. And then I had this memory of feeling that the body was shutting down. That was, in English, the expression shutting down. All my organs were shutting down, and I knew I was dying. And I was like, okay, so I have to up my vibrations here, because one of the two, or I can heal my body high up, putting my vibrations high, or at least I leave the body in a higher vibration mode. That was my thought at that moment. I was dying, and I started raising my vibration, and then I woke up, and I came to my body. I came back to my body, and I was feeling on my physical body that I was experiencing that shutdown, and I was like, "Holy smokes, what's that?" And then I dying, and I had this dream, or I was there experiencing that, and I came back and my body was still feeling it. So after meditating about that, why I had that experience, I came to the conclusion that I needed to remember that moment that I went through an experience of death because of radiation. And that answer a few questions I had actually about nuclear radiation. So it was clarifying for me, but at the same time, it was horrifying to feel your body shutting down. But at the same time, I found out what we have to do when we know that we are dying, which is to vibrate the highest vibration you know how to, which comes through gratitude, love, unconditional love, and all of these high vibration feelings. No matter what's happening, you have to bring your consciousness to that moment and change your vibration. That can actually heal the body, but if what's coming down on the physical is too strong, it doesn't matter. You're going to leave your body in a higher vibration, which is going to attract your consciousness to go to a place of higher vibration instead of being trapped when you die in places that will keep you in suffering due to memories of your lives here. Because that's another thing, is that we carry with us a lots of programming from religions and from the system, lots of beliefs on things that are meant to make us stay on that lower vibration. One of the things that is very related to Christian religions, I grew up Catholic, and I remember going to church, and at one point during the Mass, I had to touch my chest 3 times and say, "For it was my fault, it was my fault." And then when I think about that, it's unconceivable that you go through a programming like that, that you are grabbing for yourself all the guilt of everything that is wrong on this planet, and you are everything that is wrong on this planet, especially what's happening to this world. Okay, let me address Robert. uh, Thank you. Happy New Year. Okay. Oh, you deleted the message, but you wrote, okay, I left my body and was asked if I wanted to die by a higher level, but I said no, so I lived on. That's great. I'm really glad you decided not to go. That you're still here sharing your wisdom, because you are an amazing, wise soul that I have the honor to know, Robert. So that was very interesting experience you had, because you you have the choice, right? You have the choice to go permanently or to stay. And sometimes this choice happens for a period of time, and you're not even aware of it if you're not working yourself spiritually. Like, for example, if we keep practicing certain things that will keep us vibrating low and getting us sick, and that will bring me back to what I was saying about the set of beliefs that we carry with us, imposed from groups, systems, and religions, that keeps us vibrating in lower vibrations of guilt and fear and anger, because that keeps us actually on this lower vibration. And when we leave our bodies, either on dreams or astral travel, or when we die, we are kept on that level, and we cannot tap into higher levels, higher dimensions, where we actually find more harmony, peace, health, and all this. Because the universe has everything. Everything is permitted on this universe. The universe is everything, and everything is infinite and is undescribable and unconceivable to our consciousness at this moment. But what we should know is that everything is possible. Therefore, we have the choice of working our souls, working our consciousness to be more aware of being co-creators of our reality. And that brings me to the point that we can be incarnated here in this planet that is experiencing all of these chaotic situations that we see on TV and movies and social media. But we can actually be living a life of our own that is not totally affected by what is happening outside if we are vibrating higher. We create a bubble of reality inside of a bigger reality created by the mass of belief. All right. So that is very important to understand, because it is part of what we can co-create when we leave our bodies, and where do we go and what do we experience when we leave our bodies. So we are powerful enough to co-create better realities. So whenever it is time for us, because all of us are going to leave the body at one time permanently, when the body shuts down for some reason that it doesn't function anymore, just like when you have a car and the car is like, I don't know, 30 years old and the motor is gone, and you're not going to spend money to try to fix it, and it goes to garbage and you buy another car. So you are not the car, right? You are not the body. You're going to go buy another car, or maybe don't have a car, but you're not that car that went to garbage. So that's how we are to say. It's important to know that we are all going to experience that moment that we have to leave this physical body for the last time, although we do it every day when we go to sleep. Derek, is that like becoming the observer in life? It is in a certain way, yes. The becoming the observer is finding that neutrality of observing without without immersing into the feelings of what's happening. So if you step outside of even your own experience and observe it, you are in a neutral point, observing and the play, and you can control your emotions. So if you want to laugh about the play, you can laugh. If you want to cry, you can cry. So the being observed, the observer is more on that sense. I'm not sure if that's what you were referring to, becoming an observer when we leave the body. Maybe you can rephrase your question on what were you referring to, because I have a little delay from the moment I'm talking and the moment you watch it and write the question there. So I'm not sure exactly what you were you referring to. So okay, so the other experience that I had, no, I already told you those two experiences. Okay, so I wanted to also touch into the subject of awakening our consciousness on the astral plane naturally through exercises and through awareness and through meditation, instead of using substances or sacred plants to induce the opening of channels of consciousness, which work. There are amazing plants that nature has created that hold the key to opening channels for the consciousness. But the thing is that this reality we are incarnated here has been controlled until not too long ago by beings that haven't had our best of interest. They had interest only on feeding from our energy. They are not in control anymore, although they might still think they are, but we already entered a new age on this solar system. And the age of Aquarius brings a total new energy, and it's not going to change from one day to another because everything is smooth. So we are transitioning on this new transitioning into this new age of Aquarius, but we still have the reminiscence of the old system still playing like tentacles of a octopus that has lost its head. It's like still I'm trying to control things here, and that's why it's still chaotic, and we have lots of humans that haven't worked enough their consciousness to step out of, like as an observer in life, step out of the dramas that are being played to them through the mainstream media and etc. So there's a lot of work to do, and people still have time to choose the reality they want to be. And when I say that, it's because what's happening right now with this intersection of realities is that we have parallel lines of time very close together and even intersecting with each other. And that's why we're having memories of ourselves on other experiences, at least the ones of us who have been working a lot on expanding our consciousness. We're having memories of other experiences, and we are having the opportunity to choose which reality we want to step into in this transition, because after a while this parallel reality timelines are going to be distancing from each other, and we're not going to be able to jump to another one. Our consciousness is going to be on the one we choose, and it's a moment of choosing what we want from now on. So I choose to be in a fair world where money doesn't exist and where everybody shares their best for the common well of everyone in harmony, and where health systems are geared towards actually preventing disharmony, and everything is shared with unconditional love, and everybody's in gratitude. Isn't that amazing? That's what I choose, and it's time for each one of us to actually meditate and choose what reality we want to be. And that depends on how we are vibrating. So, going back to the plants, the medicinal plants like ayahuasca, for example, or mushrooms, or LSD is more like a chemical. It comes from a plant, but it's manipulated, so it enters on that realm, but not exactly. So talking about those substances that alter our perception, which help to open channels. In my opinion, that is my opinion. I don't think we need to go through that. I have experienced that a couple of times or more, but I am not in favor, and I'm not a fan of doing that as a way of accessing the different realities of consciousness. I think we are all capable, very capable of doing that by ourselves through meditation and exercising, breathing, and will. Because and I will explain why I am not in favor of the use of the substances, and everybody is free to do whatever they want, but we have to be aware of, I was saying, those beings that have been controlling the planet until now. They hijacked the energy created by the groups that use those plants and have imprisoned that experience to a level that if you use those substances, you are not able to reach higher vibrational levels. You reach certain levels and they trick you to think you're seeing something that is not really what you're seeing, if you know what I mean. So those group energies have been compromised, and it can be tricky. So if you, it's not that if you use it, you're going to be in prison on that. That's not what it is. But if you keep using it, thinking you're going to be reaching higher and higher levels, you might be tricked to be thinking that you're seeing something that is just a product of your own programming and your ancestral's programming of beliefs, depending on what you are still attached to believe. Like, for example, if you believe, like I believed for the longest time, that the extraterrestrials were here to save us and to rescue us, and they were all good. And then I woke up to that reality to know that that wasn't really like that. There are beings of all kinds and all levels, and not all of them are of the highest vibrations. And even the ones helping us here right now, they're here because they are rescuing things from their other life experiences that they did wrong and they have to fix. So they're helping because they need to help too. It doesn't mean they don't have good intentions, but everything is possible in this universe. So I came to the to realize that. And when I was on that line of belief that everything, all of them were good, I was an easy target to be tricked out of the body to see something, thinking it was something and it wasn't. I don't know if I'm clear enough on that. Zoya, hi Zoya. If we can choose where we want to go with our dreams, and astral travel can and direct that. Can we choose or change where we go when we leave the physical body? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Oh, okay. Uh, that is what we need to exercise. So putting together what Tereka said, that being on that state of being observer of yourself, you are on the here and now, and you're on control because you're not reacting by the impulse of your emotions. So you are in a neutral spot. And when you reach that moment on your meditation, which is good to do before you go to sleep and leave your body, you can target where you're going. Maybe you need to know something and you want to go and see what it is, but sometimes you think you need to know, and then when you get to know, you realize that you didn't really need to know everything. That is funny because I have this thirst for knowing everything, and then you start realizing that the more you know, the less you know, and then you detach from the need of really knowing. And that's one thing of directing where you want to go, right? But you can direct your consciousness to go to a place on your own being, on your own consciousness, where you're going to tap into the solution of a problem that you need to solve. And then also programmed that you're going to come back to your body and remember it. Because when we come back to the body, our consciousness passes through the filters of our mind and subconscious mind, and sometimes we mix some things. But with exercising that, we actually are able to filter in terms of what is not real, what is mixed from our perceptions, and know what we really need to know. Okay, what is the best way to improve your neutrality? For me, laughing works wonders. When I started exercising, laughing, it made me understand a way of being neutral, because you convince yourself, let's say you have, I'm gonna just picture a hypothetical situation. Say you have someone in your life that is treating you really bad, and you want to let this person go, but you're attached and you're in that vicious circle. Because why are you on this vicious circle? Because you are also in need of being mistreated, so you're not neutral to that situation, right? So if you step out of that drama and look at that drama playing out of you, and then you laugh about the drama, you break with the seriousness perception of that reality, and then you become neutral to it. And sometimes you need to exercise that several times until you can look at that person and feel absolutely nothing. So, meaning nothing, neutrality, meaning you're not feeling the need to be mistreated, and you're not feeling you're not feeling angry because you're being mistreated, or you're not angry at yourself for allowing that. All of these feelings, stepping out of that, that's when you become neutral. And laughing helps a lot, because it's like looking at a play out of you, and then it doesn't is not part of you anymore, and you can laugh and break with that reality. And that's why I laugh so much when I'm talking serious things. And I've been called the attention about that for several times from people that love me. And they say, if you keep laughing, people are not going to take you serious. But I can't help, because I'm always breaking with patterns of belief. uh, Life, it's amazing. Why do we have to take it so serious all the time, right? So if we can actually laugh and have fun about have more fun. I have a friend that is always saying that, and she's the queen of colors too. She's always having fun about things. And when you step into that mode, you start creating boundaries of the reality that you want to be part of, not meaning the dramas you want to be part of, not, and your life starts changing and molding to what you want. And it's the same thing as when you are going to astral travel or dream. You also mold and create where you want to be on your astral travel. And that part I'm actually talking to myself too, because I think it's time for me to start dreaming some things that are more pleasant. Like I've had some astral travel that I went to a place inside the earth. There are places inside the earth that are beautiful. And this place had I don't know, a waterfall and birds and animals and plants that I've never seen in the surface of this planet. And it was a paradise, and I didn't want to leave. I want to stay there. So that those kind of places is where you want to target to be places with higher vibrations. And that way, when actually it's time to leave the body permanently because of the body not functioning anymore, you're ready to up your vibrations so you're not trapped into lower dimensions, into the wheel of forgetting and incarnating again. Because that's what we've been doing for a long time. It's we leave a body and forget who we are. We're trapped into that wheel, go back to another life, another body, we forget who we are. And we can step out of that right now because we are in this amazing transformational moment that every single being in this planet has the opportunity to do that, to jump to another reality as soon as we work out the attachments to suffering, because ultimately we're all suffering because we are attached to 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 the victim place, to feeling guilty about something, to suffering. And let's laugh more because it's better. Laugh and sing and dance and hug and laugh, all of that. All right, let's see if I skipped something. I think I've said most of what I wanted to share with you guys. The plants that help open channels can get you actually trapped. So it's better if you exercise that without the use of those medicinal plants, unless you are guided by a very good shaman that knows what they're doing, and they can actually guide you through the astral plant with like securing your energy field of your experience. Because when we take those hallucinogens, they are chemicals and they have a timeline of reaction on your body and your cells. And unless you are totally in control of your body to stop the reaction of the chemical, you have to wait the time that it lasts. And if you're in the middle of a very bad experience and nobody's guiding you on that, it can be very torturous and suffering. So be aware of what you do in terms of that. And I would also include spirits like alcohol, drinks, and so that can are capable of relaxing our body, but at the same time keeps us on lower vibrations. And it doesn't mean that if you have a drink here and there, you're going to be in prison, but you have to clean that after you do that, right? Drink 10 times more water after every alcohol drink or anything like that. Anyway, if you don't have any more questions or comments, I would like to do a little meditation, a short meditation to uh, let go of things and raise our vibes. So we're gonna imagine, close your eyes and imagine that you are laying down in a creek, and the water of the creek is flowing through your body from your head in the direction to your feet, constantly flowing. You can hear the water going through the rocks and through your body. And as this beautiful, amazing, clear, clean, high vibrational water goes through every single cell of your body, it clears your energy and it cleans your body, your physical body, your astral body, and your consciousness, clearing all the programming of ancestrals, programming of things you've been attached to that don't serve you, that only keep you on lower vibrational levels of suffering. Let all of that be taken by that water that gently and with unconditional love clears and dissolves all of that for you, flowing out through your feet and leaving you. And feel the ecstasies of being on this water vibration flowing and clearing all your programming, keeping you on a state of amazing high vibration that taps into a gratitude from your heart and unconditional love, gratitude to everything that you have experienced, gratitude to everybody you have known and shared with, gratitude to yourself, forgiveness, forgiveness to yourself, love to yourself, and breathe deeply and breathe out, filling with this gratitude and unconditional love for yourself and for the water that is clearing your system. And on this vibration, we're opening our eyes and connecting with each other here, at this moment, here and now, whenever you connect. And I am really grateful for you to be here and connecting with this because as a collective, we're changing everything step by step together and by ourselves. That's another paradox of the universe. We are all alone, but we're never alone. All right. Thank you so much for connecting here. Keep this vibe. And if something distracts you from this vibe, you know where to find it again. Just tap into it. Please share this message to whoever you think it will resonate with and click like and share with all these things from YouTube. So it helps the channel to grow. And I thank you again. Happy New Year. Although I don't follow that calendar, I have to, but I don't tune into it. But Happy New Year because it's fun anyway. All right. I love you. See you next time.